Welcome along. What strange times these are. It's really quite, well, I'm probably not alone in saying that this is not anything I've ever experienced before, and it all sometimes feels a little surreal. So I'm really pleased that we can come together tonight and practice together. That's going to be really nice to do. So make yourself comfortable and just come to sit comfortably, however you want to sit. So it might be kneeling, it might be cross-legged, or, even sitting like this is a perfectly valid way to sit. So just take a moment to just take a few breaths just to arrive in this space. In through the nose and out through your mouth. Relaxing your shoulders, softening through your jaw. And just begin to just coming into your body. How are you doing this evening? Maybe closing your eyes or taking a soft gaze. And just letting any thoughts come and go without bringing any attachment. And just finding a sense of being grounded. And as you sit here, perhaps saying to yourself, may I be safe, may I be grounded, may I be happy, and may I be peaceful. So maybe during this next hour together, we can keep coming back to those 4 phrases. And giving yourself this next hour to be present and honouring the space that you've made for yourself. So just continuing just to sit here just for a little while longer. We're going to take our right hand, just find your belly button, and then 3 fingers below your belly button. Just gently with your index and middle fingers. Just gently, just lightly press. And then with your left hand, just gently finding just kind of that space just at the top of your, kind of like just at the top of your cleavage really. And lightly press with your middle finger again. So these 2 points, just really nice, just places to just give you a little bit of grounding and feelings of calm. And perhaps coming back to those 4 phrases again. May I be safe. May I be calm. May I be grounded. And may I be peaceful. So this is a little tool that you can use just when you feel that maybe everything's getting a little bit much. And then when you're ready, rest your hands on your lap and take a deep breath in. And then exhale out of your mouth. And then just flutter your eyes open. And then just come to sit however is comfortable. Maybe just stretching the legs out in front. And we're going to come into our first shape, which is going to be deer. So let's take your right leg in front and then curl your left leg around behind and just settle. So you might find that you want to prop under your left hip, but just finding a comfortable place. Take your hands by your side and then very gently just coming forward, just as far as you can. You might find that you might want to go over towards the right side or over to the left or more to the center. And we're going to stay here for 3 minutes. And just finding a place of stillness. Coming into your breath. And so this is working on your liver and kidney meridians and also the bladder meridian of the back of the body. And as spring officially starts tomorrow, this is going to be the time that we get into the wood element. And the wood element is a time when it's really much more energetic. So we've moved out of the yin time of the year and into a much more yang time. So it's a time really to be getting stuff done and maybe sort of like getting down to a few of those jobs that you've been putting off. Maybe having like a bit of a declutter. And these crazy times that we're finding ourselves in, then maybe, you know, this might be actually forced on us to actually go inside and get some of these jobs done. So maybe we're getting to a time where we might be making good use of this time. So we're just coming to the last about 40 seconds here. So maybe you might find that you want to go deeper. And you can relax and you can support your head on pillows if you want to. And then taking a deep breath in, and as you exhale, it slowly come on all the way up. And then just maybe roll a little bit to your right side, just so that you can bring the leg around from the back, your left leg around from the back. And then maybe just take a little bit of a stretch to the legs in front of you. And then before we do the other side, we're going to come into another shape here. So we're going to come into butterfly. So you might like to sit on your cushion or whatever you have, or your rolled up blanket. You can make a little kind of support for your hips with your blanket. And then bend the knees and then take the soles of the feet together and then Just make sure that you've got a decent space in between your heels and your hips. So as we normally do, so enough to be able to get your two hands easily into the space there. And then just shuffling to make sure that you're comfortably sitting. So you might want to get the flesh on your bum and kind of tuck it in a bit, or you might want to kind of move it out of the way, but just so that you feel really comfortable and we've got a nice forward tilt here. And then lifting up through the spine, we're just going to gently and softly come forwards. Take the palms of the hands up so that there's no tension in your fingers. And just relaxing into the space between your bent legs. Just letting your head hang heavy. And what you can do sometimes, if your legs, your knees feel that they need some support, you can get a couple of cushions and just put them under your knees, or a couple of pillows. It's quite nice. But again, just softening through the back of the body. And coming back to that breath of, feeling really grounded here. So feeling your connection between you and your mat. So this practice of yin yoga really allows us to just drop into the body and find a little bit of stillness. So often we rush around and without giving a moment to ourselves and what we're feeling and what's going on in our bodies. But this practice of being still and getting in tune with different parts of your bodies, and just allows us to find that space in our day where we can check in with ourselves. So we're coming towards the last minute, so maybe you might find that you need to back off from the edge, or you might find that you can just come a little deeper. And it's okay if you have some roundness in your back. You can really just let the head be heavy. If you want to support your head, you can rest your chin in your hands. Just taking about 5 more breaths here. Again, this is working on down the inside seam of your leg. So the lines that run up the inside seam are the liver, kidney and spleen. The kidney we associate with the water element in winter. And the liver is spring and wood. And the spleen is earth and late summer. But it's really important to nourish all of these lines within our body, and particularly a little bit of spleen here because it helps strengthen the immune system. So very gently start to look up and then walk the hands back. Have a lean back, and then maybe carefully just bring the legs in, knees together, and maybe just wiggle your feet out wide as the mat, and then just take some movement or just stay still. So you just check in and see what your body feels like. What does it need to come out of this space? And then come back to stillness. My little dog's watching me from the sofa. Quiet tonight. So maybe come back into the center, and we're going to take deer now on the other side. So this time with your left foot in front, and then curl your right leg back behind you here. So, just be in touch with your own body and what it feels like. So, it doesn't have to be that the foot is close to the groin. You might be more comfortable with the foot in line with the knee. You can prop underneath your left knee. So I'm really different on this side of my body. It's totally different for me on this side. So I feel that, you know, I'm a lot tighter in my left hip. So you might want to support underneath your left knee with something. You might want to, if you feel like your right bum cheek's floating off the floor, you can get your cushion and then just support it here. And then just start off by finding a little bit of a straight spine. And then we're going to come forwards. And again, it's very much a case of what your body feels like. So you might find that you come straight forward, or you might find that you're better off going at a bit of an angle. But either way, just find a place where you can begin to come forwards and soften here. So as well, you can, I've got a bolster here, but you can relax down onto a pillow. And this is a really good option for people to take if you, whenever we do swan, sleeping swan, and you maybe find it might be a bit much. Some people absolutely loathe and detest that shape, and deer is a really good option to do. We're still getting that external rotation in the leg that's in front, in the hip, front hip. But we've got a little bit of internal rotation going on in the leg that's behind. We've got our knee safe, and we're getting a nice stretch in the fascia of the glute muscles as well. So, you know, how big, I'm not saying that everybody's got a big bum, far from it, but you know, those bum muscles, big bum muscles, those are the, you know, the gluteus maximus is the largest muscle in the body, like it or not. And sometimes it holds a lot of tension, and if we're not careful, that can then go up to our backs and cause the low back tension, tightness, discomfort. So just taking some deep breaths, and you can vary how you go. So if you feel that you want a little bit more of a side stretch, if you're quite comfortable as you are with the legs and you'd like a little bit more of a side stretch, you can go away from the leg. So you can sort of bring your hands over towards the right side of your mat and relax down. And then what that does is then it opens down the side of the body and gets a little bit more into the gallbladder lines, which is the paired meridian of the liver and linked to wood element. So we're in the last minute here. So just appreciate a little bit of silence here, whatever is going on around you. We can find our own silence if we come back into our breath. And then gently take a couple more breaths. And then gently, very gently coming up, slowly. Lean over a little bit to the left. Liberate your leg around from the back. Come off whatever you're sitting. Just take a moment to be grounded on the floor, nice and flat. And then maybe just lean back into your hands and just open your chest here. Good. Maybe just point and flex the feet here. So before we go too much further, we're just going to bend the knees a little bit here and get your two thumbs and just find the web space between your big toe and your second toe, and then just run your fingers into that kind of like web. There's like a space there, and then eventually you'll find the point where the bones meet. So it's probably about an inch away from the actual space between your big toe and second toe. And just with a little circular motion here, we're just going to just gently rub into the feet here. It's liver point 3, which I don't know if anybody saw today. I actually did put a post on Instagram about this point, but just to explain to you what this does is that it's really grounding and calming. It's a really nice thing to do, you know, if you're feeling a little bit, you know, like your head's buzzing. You know, I defy anybody at the moment who hasn't had moments of feeling like that this week. I know I certainly have. But you know, it just helps to bring the energy down, into your feet, and just bring a feeling of calm. So it's a really frequently used acupressure point. And if anybody has acupuncture, it's often a place where they'll needle to help balance liver energy. And when liver energy is flowing well, it helps us just get out of this feeling of being stuck, stagnant. So relaxing the hands down now, and then we're going to come into half butterfly now. So we've just done full butterfly, so we're going to curl your right leg in towards your groin and take the left leg out in front of you with a nice relaxed foot. If you want to sit on your cushion, you can, so just give you that nice support and pelvic tilt here. And if you want to support underneath your bent leg with your blanket, you can. Be happy in your hip though, and then lift up long through the spine and then begin to come forwards. Not necessarily over your leg, but maybe in the space, just in a place where it feels comfortable. Again, you can reach for your pillow and support down here, or you can rest onto your elbow and just give yourself some support. If you're doing that, though, so you don't necessarily need any props, but if you are doing that, then don't lean your elbow on a knee. Go gently into your thigh here. Just hold it here. And then staying here, we're just going to be a couple more minutes here. Maybe you might like to take your fingers and just spread your toes just a little bit here. So interlacing your fingers between your toes and just give your toes a little bit of a spread. And again, anything that we can do to help our feet be more mobile, that's going to be better for the rest of our bodies and the rest of our posture. And then if you want to release that, then maybe you can go in for another gentle massage in that liver point as well. And finding it there, just running up the groove space between second and big toe, and then finding it's kind of like a natural little hollow there. It might be a little bit tender. So about 5 more breaths here. And then slowly, really carefully coming on up. Stretch out your right leg. Take your hands behind you. And then maybe just wave the feet gently. Flex and point the feet. Maybe circle the ankles. And when you're ready, let's do the other side. So let's take the left foot in towards your inside thigh. Doesn't matter where it ends up, just as long as your bent leg knee is comfortable. And if you want to, if you know, there's nothing to say that this straightened leg has to be straight. If it's better for you to keep some softness in the extended leg, and again, you can take a blanket underneath your knee. But then just, you know, before you go anywhere, just have a little shuffle, find your seat and lengthen through your spine, and then begin to come forwards. Slowly relax your foot, relax your head, support your body if you need to. Use your pillows. So this is a really calming shape. Anything that involves forward folding is calming for the body because it really allows you to kind of like go within yourself. But at the same time, you're kind of like, you don't feel exposed. You can, get down into your feelings without being seen. So important, particularly at this time, just to sort of like once in a while, just kind of like take a pause, take a breath, and just, worry about the things that we can control. So much of what's going on in the world right now is really out of our control. What we can control is our own well-being to a degree, particularly our mental well-being, and anything that we can do that's going to make us feel safe and secure. Things like, might be being at home and making a nice environment at home. It might be something like cooking yourself a nourishing meal, or doing some really nice activities that feel good for you, like reading or some sort of creative project. The news, although we want to know what's happening, the news can sometimes fuel these feelings of anxiety. Staying just for another minute. And then about 3 more breaths here. Maybe before you leave this posture, you'll come back to those phrases again with your breath. May I be safe. May I be calm. May I be grounded. May I be peaceful. And then slowly, carefully coming up. So it's definitely working on my little dog because she's on the sofa asleep, bless her. And then just gently stretch your legs out in front. And then just maybe, again, point and flex the feet, circle the feet, maybe just have a little kind of like windscreen wiper with your feet from side to side. And then preparing for our next shape, which is going to be dragonfly. So we're going through the whole spectrum of nature right now. So again, if you want to come onto your cushion, you can, and then you're going to take your legs as wide apart as is comfortable for you. So, not anything too extreme, and being really mindful of what is going on the inside of the knee. So these tender ligaments that are inside the knee. I spoke too soon, didn't I? Here she is. Okay. I'd love to know if you've I can't quite see you all at the moment, but if you've got your little dogs or pets or cats or whatever, just do a quick screenshot at some point or get somebody to. So anyway, take your feet as wide apart as feels comfortable. Straighten up through the spine and then just start to hinge forwards with your pillow or your cushions or whatever you need in front of you. And then maybe just take a relax here. And paying particular attention to what's happening around the back of the body here, particularly your shoulders, because sometimes what happens is the shoulders hunch up by the ears, and then, you know, held tension here is never good, but it's definitely not good whilst you're in a yin yoga pose. We want to relax the body as best we can. So just soften here. And this is quite strong, but it is definitely one of those shapes that if you go carefully and slowly and really easy does it, it will, you know, the body will open up, but it's a slow process, you know. It's not going to be where you, unless you're really hypermobile, it's going to be a really slow journey to get any kind of progress, but there is progress definitely to be had. And so just notice what's happening with your feet. So you can just wiggle your toes. And just notice whatever thoughts arise in your mind. If you can, let go of any kind of like to-do lists, staying as you are. We have about another 4 or 5 breaths here. And then very gently, slowly, really slowly, really take your time coming out of this one. Come up and then get your 2 middle fingers and just hook underneath the knees to bend the knees and bring the knees back in together. And, you know, it's really nice to maybe just bend the knees and just take a little hug in here. Really round into a little ball. Good. Okay, next shape. We're going to come down to lie on our fronts now. Hope everybody's okay. Just going to have a quick peek. Good. So we're coming towards the last minute. So if you feel that you want a little bit more, you can begin to come into seal by taking the hands away from the mat and then coming up by straightening the arms. But if you get there and decide it was a bad idea, then you can always come back. So you can always come back to Sphinx. You know, backs feel different on a daily basis. So, you know, it might be today that, you know, your back isn't so keen on this. But just be really gentle with yourself. About 3 or 4 more breaths here. And then slowly, slowly, slowly making your way down to lie on your mat. Make a pillow with your hands. Just gently shake your hips. This is really just letting the circulation come back into your lower back, your lumbar spine area. And then lying as you are, turn your face to the right side and then slide your right knee up towards the hip, keeping your foot on the floor. Just letting the sacrum spread here. And stay here. Leave the leg where it is and turn your head now to the left. And then slowly lower your right leg back alongside the left. Leave your head to the left and slide the left knee up towards the left hip now. And that feels really nice to me. I don't know about you. And then leave the leg where it is and turn your head over to the right. And then slide your left leg down. And then from here, you can stay laying as you are. We're just going to roll round onto our backs now. So if you want to change position on your mats, that's up to you, or just literally roll over onto your back. So rolling over onto your back and then hug your knees into your chest. So rolling onto your back, hug your knees in, have a little roll from side to side, just get that nice massage into the muscles of the back. And then from here, we're going to come into a reclined twist. So taking the arms out nice and wide, then maybe just put your feet down on the floor just for a moment and then shuffle your hips over to the left side of your mat and then hug back in with the knees. And then slowly drop your bent legs over towards the right. And then if you want to support either between your legs, under your legs with a pillow, and if you want to turn your head to look down your left arm, you can. And just holding your reclined twist here. And stretching out down the side of the body. If you want to, you can use your right hand to hold your left thigh. But it's, nothing forceful here. So it's just kind of like a gentle support. And places where you're likely feeling this, so hopefully you're feeling a nice stretch that's coming from your inside of your left arm. So we're working on the yin meridians of the arm, which is the heart and the lung and the pericardium. And then coming down the armpit and then running all the way down the side body where we pick up the gallbladder meridian. Then running over your glute. And we're also rotating through the spine. Any form of rotational movement or any twists that we might even do in a moving practice. It's really nice and toning for the liver. So staying here. Just stay for one more minute. And as you breathe, just see if you can break that breath down into 3 distinct parts. So originating your breath from the inhale down deep in the belly. And then as you continue to inhale, moving up to the lower ribs. And then to the upper chest. And then as you exhale, just taking it in reverse. And then slowly to come out, very gently turn the head back into the center first, and then carefully bring the legs back into the center. And then maybe just momentarily put your feet down on the floor and move your hips a little bit to the right, hug back in, and then drop your bent legs over to the left side. Again, turning your head to look down the right arm, maybe holding your right leg, the top leg, with your left hand here. And just keep soft with your breath. And maybe using this opportunity again to just come back, just bringing it back to those 4 phrases that we started our practice with this evening. May I be safe. May I be calm. May I be grounded. May I be peaceful. So just holding your rotation. Really feeling that spread of the rib cage here. So as you breathe, you know, these intercostal muscles of the rib cage, they're really tight, really hard to stretch as well. So there's the muscles that we use all the time in breathing, and if we can keep a nice open chest and keep our lungs strong, and it helps to power our immune system. And that's really what we need to be focusing on right now, is how we can keep ourselves as healthy as possible. Really like work on our protection. So I'm just going to take about another 5 breaths here, so don't hurry your breath. Last couple of breaths. And then slowly, carefully turn your head back to the center, and then gently, really gently bring your legs back into the center, hug in. And we've got a couple more shapes left to do. So we're going to come into happy baby next. So keeping the knees drawn into the chest. Just let the legs separate. So let the knees separate, and then reach through and take hold of the blade edge of your feet. And then shine the soles of the feet up towards the ceiling. So your arms are going to be on the insides of the legs. Soles of the feet up towards the ceiling. We're not going to be too long here. And it's likely that you might feel a little bit of compression into your hip joint here, and that's not a bad thing. So sometimes it's it might, it's not always a 100% comfortable sensation. This sort of like dull sensation in the joint, but anything is a bit like any kind of like bone loading that we can do helps to make our bones stronger. So then that's really where we need to be focusing on, is the endings of our bones, so that they get stronger, and to make new bone cells. So this is quite strong. It can be quite strong in the arms as well. So if you can just drop into your shoulders. And if you feel that, it's kind of like a little bit awkward holding the feet, you can hold your ankles. Or if you've got a scarf, you can kind of like loop a scarf around the soles of the feet, or you can do one leg at a time. So maybe just working on one leg at a time is an option for you. So there's loads of different ways that you can manage this so that you keep keep within your comfort zone. You want to feel something, but not sort of like having 3 minutes of like misery and agony. So we've got about another 40 seconds here. Just staying as you are. Oh, I can see Stella's little dog there. Brilliant, well done. About 3 or 4 more breaths. And then gently let go of your ankles. Draw the knees in towards your chest. And then very carefully roll over onto your left side. And carefully come up to sit. And welcome back. Okay. From here, last shape. So we're going to come into caterpillar. So let's start by hugging the knees in towards the chest again. And then hug the underneath here. And then really keep that close contact with your legs, your thighs between your chest. And then we're slowly going to inch the feet forwards. Walking forwards, keeping your chest on your legs, and you'll probably find a point where you stop and think, right, that's me, I'm good here, thank you. If you want to, you can pop a pillow under your legs and just gently fold forwards here, or you can keep the hold between your chest and your legs here. And just stay for a moment. So again, another kind of like introspective forward fold here. And then maybe you might find after a while that the sensation of tension and stretch eases off from the back of the body and the back of the legs. In which case you can then perhaps take the hands out from under the legs and then just fold over the legs here. And the legs by absolutely any means don't have to go straight. So if you've got a bend in your legs or you want to put something under your legs like a pillow or a blanket, then do that. If you don't like that feeling of the head hanging heavy, then you can use your elbows and your hands to support you, or you can use a pillow or some cushions in front to support you. And just be mindful of whereabouts you're feeling this, particularly paying attention to sensations in your back, in your lower back. Really mindful of that. So if that's happening for you, or if you've got any tingling in your feet as well. So tingling in the feet are kind of like the alarm bells, really. Tingling in the feet, sensations in the lower back. Then what you can do is you can bend your legs, or you can come up a little bit more with the spine here. So a bit more of an upright position and take the support. So really using the support to get you into the best place, the best shape really, to feel the stretch that's pleasant. You know you're stretching, but not painful, not feeling that you're about to injure yourself. So just coming into the last few moments here, just see if there's any more movement that you can take to come deeper, or do you need to back off? And then slowly, really slowly, coming up. And then taking your hands behind you, bending your legs, and maybe just gently moving the legs from side to side. So before we come into our Shavasana to close our practice, so we're just going to find a comfortable seat again, and I'm going to sit up a little bit so that you can see what I'm doing. So I'm just going to go through like a few little acupressure points that you can use, and they're particularly good for calming yourself and keeping you grounded. And kind of like, you know, if you get these kind of like feelings of fear that sometimes escalate, and it causes, you know, this heightened sense of anxiousness which sometimes happens, you can just sort of like maybe use these to just drop back into the now and into a little bit more of an even keel, as it were. So the first one is going to be on your wrist here. So if you just hold your wrist crease and kind of like just let you do this camp dodgy little wrist thing. Actually, I'm tempted to take you off mute here so we can have a little bit of dialogue at this point. So just bear with me. Unmute all. Okay. Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, hello.
Hello. Good. Right. Okay. Good. So nice, you know, camp wrist here, or like, you know. Pardon?
Chinese cat.
Chinese cat is a good one. So in the wrist crease, and then 3 fingers. Oh gosh, yeah, that's better. 3 fingers down from your wrist crease. In the center, take your middle finger and just have a little, just relax down and do it on the inside once you've got the point there. So it's kind of like really where your watch strap would be. Can you see? Have you all got it? And that is pericardium 6, which is known as inner gate. So if anybody has travel sickness, often, you can buy these travel sickness bands. So this is like, that's the point that it works on here. So that kind of like motion sickness, and that, that's like sicky, anxious feeling you get here. So just taking a couple of breaths here, and you can hold that and just do it for 1 or 2 minutes. And the good thing about all of these points is that you can do them wherever you are. So you can do them at work, you can do them when you're in a meeting. If you're not so much when you're driving, unless you're stuck in traffic, of course. But they're just a really nice little thing that you can do for yourself, and they're harmless as well. So that's that one. So, a couple of minutes both sides. One side, you don't have to be obsessive over, oh, I've done 1 minute and 45 seconds on this side, I better do the same on the other side. It doesn't matter so much, actually. Even if you only do one side, it doesn't matter. The other one you can do is conception vessel 17. So it's kind of like, it's easy for us girls here. So you can kind of like go from the bottom of your bra line there to the collar of your chest, and it's about halfway in between. So it's on that bony plate. It's just at the top of your cleavage, and again your middle finger is going into here. So the conception vessel 17, this is, which has a lovely name, Sea of Tranquility. So again, just a little press there. So sometimes when you get that that kind of anxious feeling, you sometimes get tightness in your chest. So just taking some deep breaths, lightly pressing here. It's just a really light pressure. It's not kind of like you're trying to break your ribs or anything. It's just really light pressure there. And then the last one is going to go for the lung points here. So the easiest way to do this is to kind of cross your hands and then find your collarbone and just dip just below the collarbone. So that kind of like bony bit there going underneath, and there's like a natural little hollow, which is probably, with your hands crossed, your wrists crossed at the center of the chest, is naturally where your fingers are going to find that place there. And this is lung 1, which is called, would you believe it, letting go. So again, deep breaths. And it also helps to keep this really good and clearing for the chest. So I almost don't want to say it. If you get a cough, this is quite nice to sort of like, help with a tight chest and keep that chest energy nice and healthy. Nobody wants to mention the word cough, do they? So have you noticed that as soon as anybody coughs, it's like, as soon as I cough, even if I cough, I think, oh my God.
Was it?
So tell me it's not just me, is it?
No.
Thank God for that. Anyway, there's those 3 little points. So you've got this one on the wrist, pericardium 6, inner gate, middle there, right down on the bony tendons, and then you've got CV 17, sort of like halfway between bra strap and your little dimple there, halfway between, and that one, and then you've got that one. So there's 3 there, really good for anxiety. Anyway, that being said, let's make our way into Shavasana. So if you want to lie yourself down, so just lay down however's comfortable, get cozy up, support yourself with any props. if you even want to, you can put your legs up the sofa. So if you're by your sofa or you've got a chair, you can shuffle your bottom up against the sofa and put your legs up so they're supported on the sofa. That's quite nice. It's a supported inversion, which is really nice and calming. Takes the stress out of your legs. I'm going to poke my fire before that dies. And just be quiet and give yourself a moment of stillness. So continuing to rest here. Just stay as you are. I'm just going to finish with this poem by Judith Hill. Wage peace with your breath. Breathe in firemen and rubble and breathe out whole buildings and flocks of red-winged blackbirds. Breathe in confusion and breathe out maple trees. Breathe in the fallen and breathe out lifelong friendships intact. Wage peace with your listening. Hearing sirens, pray loud. Remember your tools. Flower seeds, clothes pegs, clean rivers. Make soup. Play music. And learn the word for thank you in 3 languages. Learn to knit and make a hat. Think of chaos as dancing raspberries. Imagine grief as the outbreath of beauty or the gesture of fish. Swim for the other side. Wage peace. Never has the world seemed so fresh and precious. Have a cup of tea and rejoice, and act as if armistice has already arrived. Don't wait for another minute. So very gently from here, beginning to take some movement into your body, and just take your time. And then slowly take a full body stretch. And then roll over onto your left side. And then when you feel ready, gently bring yourself up to sitting. And just sitting to close our practice, however feels comfortable. And then maybe joining your hands at the center of your chest. And then taking your thumbs and just resting them on your chin. And then taking your 2 index fingers joined to your third eye space here. And then take a deep breath in. And breathe out. And joining the hands down again, center of the chest, repeating to yourself those 4 phrases again. May I be safe. May I be calm. May I be grounded. And may I be peaceful. So bow your chin towards your chest. Rest your hands down in your lap. Raise your gaze up. And thank you very much for practicing with me this evening. Thank you. I hope you have a wonderful evening, and I hope that, well, whatever happens over the next few days, what we did tonight was useful, and you use those 3 little points. So I'm hoping that this recorded well, and I can put it up on the Facebook page, and you can do it again if you like. So is everybody feeling okay? Anybody got any questions or comments or anything they'd like to say?
Lovely.
Really good. Bit weird, but really good.
A bit weird. Yeah, it's a bit different, isn't it, really?
The dog enjoyed it.
Yeah. It'll get better. So I've got some better camera equipment coming and some better sound recording stuff, because it's a little bit, I mean, I've got my Apple AirPods in actually, which is, I've got a microphone in, which help, but it's still a little bit disconcerting because I can hear back through them as well. So as well as hearing it through the laptop, I'm hearing it through here as well. So it's a little, I can hear myself. It's weird. Yeah, but it's coming, and then maybe just, we have to work with what we get, and it's a learning curve. And but I hope you enjoyed it. And if anybody's got any questions or want to know anything or would like those 3 little points explained in a bit more detail, then let me know. Okay. But thank you for supporting me.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. Bye.
Bye.
Lovely evening. Bye.
Bye.